Papin perhe, a Haberdash Books English translation. Copyright 2026. A note from the translator. My introduction to Minakanth began, as these things often do, with a whisper among fellow book enthusiasts. Someone mentioned her as Finland's Ibsen, and that was all it took. I was captivated. Digging deeper, I discovered a figure of immense courage and intellect, a woman who, in the late 19th century, was not only a prolific playwright and novelist, but also a fierce social critic and entrepreneur. Kanth was a titan of Finnish literature, challenging societal norms and advocating for women's rights and the working class through her art. She was instrumental in shaping the literary landscape of her nation at a pivotal time, bringing realism and a powerful social conscience to the stage and page. For English readers, Kanth has remained largely undiscovered, a true shame given the enduring power and relevance of her narratives. Papin perhe, The Pastor's Family, is a brilliant example of her theatrical prowess. A sharp, witty, and deeply human play that skewers hypocrisy and explores generational divides within the confines of a seemingly respectable household. It's a play that feels surprisingly modern in its themes and character dynamics, offering both delightful comedy and incisive social commentary. My goal in translating Papin perhe * was to preserve Kanth's distinctive voice, her blend of brisk dialogue, underlying tension, and flashes of poignant insight. I aimed for a rendition that would feel natural and engaging to a contemporary English speaker, without sacrificing the period charm or the subtleties of the original Finnish. There were delightful challenges, such as conveying the particular rhythm of Finnish domestic banter, which I've tried to capture with careful attention to idiom and flow. I hope I've managed to bring a fresh immediacy to her words, allowing her characters to leap off the page with all their passion and foibles intact. So, dear reader, I invite you to step into the bustling, sometimes fractious, and always fascinating world of Papin perhe *. Prepare to be charmed, amused, and perhaps even provoked. Samuel Chatwin, Haberdash Books, 2026. ACT 4, The Pastor's Family. Written by Minakanth, The Pastor's Family. Jussi and Hannah's apartment in Helsinki, a comfortably furnished room, a door to the hall at the back, another door to the left. Jussi's desk to the right, a divan table to the left, a lounge sofa, a rocking chair, etc. Jussi sits at his desk reading the last galley proof, a draft of a text for publication to be checked for errors, folded sideways for his newspaper. Tuvo stands nearby, looking at another galley proof page. Tuvo, good, excellent. Confound it, this is so clever and at the same time so biting that I'd like to see what they have to say. JUSSI, one knows that beforehand. Young Finland mocks religion, scoffs at the most sacred feelings of the people. That's an old song. Tuvo, ha 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 ha, JUSSI, what passage are you reading now? Tuvo. A change of name has been proposed for Amurusko dawn. Iltarusko dusk would supposedly better correspond to its meaning. However, this is a great error. For what is dusk? The last reflection of a sun gone to rest, the rosy farewell of the dying rays of light. But let us instead consider the birth of dawn. Day rises, sends its first bright rays to awaken the sleeping world. Do these reach their destination? No. Night has brought fog, mist, black cloud wisps to the horizon. Into their damp embrace sinks the first brightness of the dawning morning. The rays only manage to gild the edge of their grave. Only after the sun has banished these obstacles from its path. Good. When the dawn has vanished from the sky, aptly put. Only then is the victory of light complete. Our holy, venerable fathers have thus fully considered the purpose of their work. They have correctly guessed their situation by giving their newspaper the name Amurusco. Ha 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 ha, JUSSI. Well, isn't it so then? TUVO. Exactly. So logical and clear that there's no getting around it. But their faces must stretch long when reading this. And what will your old father say? Won't he already make a mistake and shout? Per. Ha 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 ha, HANNA enters from the left. Quiet so Maiju can sleep. What are you laughing about here? TUVO. At Jussie's article, which will be in today's paper. It is impossibly sharp. Have you read it, Miss Hannah? HANNA. I haven't, Jussie never shows it to me beforehand anymore. JUSSI, why do you always argue back? HANNA, I have to when you can't help but scold me. JUSSI, of course I scold because others scold me. HANNA. Does that make it better then? To me, this constant arguing is so unpleasant. TEUVO, not at all, not unpleasant in the least. Especially when Jussie knows how to give them a beating they'll feel. He never gets the short end of the stick. In polemics, you are at least a master, Jussie, that must be said. JUSSI, one learns that out of necessity as a newspaper man, but Hannah doesn't approve of it. One should always grant the opponent the last word, not defend oneself or use weapons. TEUVO. And what would follow from that? They would think they had so thoroughly stumped Jussie that he kept his mouth shut for that reason. And the public would agree. And it wouldn't be long before the hornets would jump on his nose with twice the boldness. JUSSI, that is certain. No, Hannah, as long as I have any strength left, I will drive them from my sight. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a man. HANNA. Until now, however, it has always been said that women argue and scold each other. Now men have taken that duty from women. JUSSI, come on, are you comparing a newspaper dispute to women's chattering? There is a difference in the matter. CHANNA, I don't think the difference is so great. May I read your article now, by the way? JUSSI, this is urgent, the boy is waiting in the hall. The paper will be out soon, you can read it then anyway. He rolls up the galley proofs and hands them to the boy at the hall door. Here, take them quickly to the printer. TUVO picks up a writing from the desk. What is this? Wars to be abolished, conscription and the military system to be removed. HANNA. Oh, don't read that. TUVO, aha, Miss Hannah, have you also started writing for young Finland? How delightful. HANNA, a miserable delight. Those fine gentlemen don't care to have my writings in their paper. 2 have already been thrown into the waste bin. This third one will probably go the same way. TUVO, but why? HANNA. Well, let Jussie explain that matter. JUSSI, can't you already guess from the headline without any other explanations? TEUVO. Wars to be abolished, conscription and the military system to be removed. Yes, this, of course, cannot be printed. HANNA, I don't understand why it cannot. JUSSI, because the nation must have strength and power to defend itself if the enemy attacks the country. HANNA, the nation must have strength and power to remain in truth. If homicide and bloodshed are sin and brutality, then nothing in the world justifies committing it. That is a clear matter. JUSSI, there are many clear matters that cannot be realized in life. HANNA, it must be possible. Cowardice must not hinder it. JUSSI, cowardice, why do you always say cowardice? Reason, practical intelligence, those are what forbid going headlong into death's maw. HANNA. That's exactly what our ancestors did, and it was called bravery. Does anyone reproach them as irrational, even though they risk their lives for the homeland? TEUVO. No, but listen now, Miss Hannah, HANNA. If the Finnish people dared to die a martyr's death for the cause of peace, then their lives would not have been lived in vain. A greater historical task could hardly emerge for them. JUSSI, what do you say to that, Tuvo? Isn't it all utter madness? But he doesn't believe me. TEUVO. No, idle daydreaming. And besides, one shouldn't speak of such matters in public, Miss Hannah. Jussie is right about that. But what did your previous writings concern? HANNA. Is it worth even telling? Sits down to do needlework. JUSSI. They contained similar impossible notions. In the last one, for example, she claimed that all penal institutions should be transformed into educational institutions or sanatoriums. Criminals should be regarded either as morally ill or dull or undeveloped. Mental well-being is certainly cared for. There are schools for everyone, even for idiots, and sanatoriums for the mentally ill, but moral care is completely neglected. TEUVO smiles. Well, that might not be so crazy. JUSSI lights a cigarette. Childishness? TEUVO. Yes, those ideas, of course, can never be realized. Looks at his watch. But listen, do you already have theater tickets for this evening? JUSSI. I don't, but we are supposed to be given complimentary tickets, as it is Maiju's audition performance. TEUVO. That's true, it is, but I must go and buy mine before they run out. JUSSI. You'll come back here then so we can go together? TEUVO. I'll come. Goodbye for now. Exits. JUSSI. Well, Hannah, HANNA. What well? JUSSI, you're upset. HANNA, I am, because you don't understand me at all. JUSSI. Yes, I understand you, but you don't understand me. Listen now, as I explain the matter to you properly from root to branch. Put away your sewing and listen to me carefully. HANNA lays her work aside. Well, JUSSI, suppose a gardener from a southern country comes here to the north. He is not familiar with our climate, but sows fine, delicate plants from his own land here. How do you think those plantings will fare? HANNA. They won't thrive. Everyone knows that. JUSSI, correct, they won't thrive. So there was no benefit from sowing them, neither for him nor for others. Are we in agreement about that? HANNA. We are. JUSSI. That gardener might have been very skilled at caring for plants, but he was nevertheless impractical and childish for not first investigating the country's climate before going to do his sowing, wasn't he? HANNA. Yes, presumably. JUSSI. And we might wish that raisins, cucumbers, oranges, grapes, and such things would grow here. But what is impossible is impossible. HANNA. Well, yes, but I don't understand. JUSSI. What does this have to do with you? Wait, we're coming to that now. I would like, you see, to argue that you are precisely such an impractical gardener. HANNA. Me? How? In what way? JUSSI. You pursue such ideas and truths that do not thrive in the moral climate of this earth. They belong, you see, to some other celestial body where the conditions for a higher life are more favorable. Here, it is impossible to realize them. HANNA. But we could still try. We could at least talk about them. JUSSI. A poet can do that, like Ibsen or Tolstoy and others. In their books, they may dream of one impossible thing or another, even though they know very well that ruin would ensue if their ideas were followed. Tolstoy himself admits that his teachings would lead humanity to ruin, and Ibsen's Rosmer, yes, he, the old scoundrel, is like a fallen tree, a little startled. He doesn't understand the ways of this world at all. HANNA. I'm afraid I don't understand either. JUSSI. But a newspaper, you see, must take people as they are, and conditions as they are to see what can be realized and what cannot, and also in what way each matter can be carried through. In short, it must be practical and wise, not daydreaming beyond the clouds nor banging its head against a wall. Do you understand now? HANNA. Yes, I understand what you mean. But that way, progress is terribly slow, if there's any progress at all. JUSSI. Don't get melancholic, little Hannah. You must cast away those high ideals and settle for lower ones, much lower ones, otherwise you'll go mad. What good is it to you if you absolutely want domestically grown oranges when it's impossible to get them anyway? Less emotion, more reason, my dear child. Now what? Maiju, we assume, is already making noise there. Ah, there she is. Why couldn't you sleep longer? Maiju enters from the side room looking tired. HANNA. Dear Maiju, how will you manage to perform tonight when you're not resting at all and haven't slept for many nights? JUSSI. And think how important it is that you succeed tonight as it's an audition. Maiju. There's no more time, it's already late. I have to go to the theater. JUSSI. It's only 6 o'clock. You can still sleep perfectly well for half an hour. HANNA. Go back to your bed. I'll wake you if you happen to fall asleep. Maiju. Not anymore, let me stay here with you. If you knew how difficult it is, you certainly wouldn't force me. JUSSI. What's difficult? Maiju. That I daren't tell. HANNA. I can guess. Those nocturnal visions are tormenting you.